All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Locker Room to Boardroom, the podcast. We are very excited about today. First and foremost, back at the Golf Habit. It feels good to be back here. I know it's been warm all winter in Colorado, but it's still good to get back in the swing of golf things and be back in the golf habit here. And today, we are brought to you by the Move Caddies. They are a full service moving company in Northern Colorado and in Boulder. Do everything from packing to loading to moving, commercial, residential, you name it. These guys do it. Corey and Dean are awesome. So I want to thank them for their support. And as always, Mike is with me. Looking forward to Mike's insight. Mike's always got the good insight.
Let's go. I'm right. I'm
Hey,
excited for today. Let's
hey,
get it.
oh, it's gonna be a good one. We're very excited about it. So we have Madison Gates on with us here today, a former goalkeeper from the University of Michigan, and then was also a youth and collegiate soccer coach. Is that right, Madison?
Yep, yep. Coached
Yes.
it all
Oh
levels.
yeah, we love getting back into the coaching world of things, right? And
Yes.
it's kind of jumped into the leadership side of things in revenue generating operations for organizations and the marketing side of things, and is now leading marketing for the biggest youth sports organization in the country, right? With I-9.
Yeah, yeah. Super
Oh,
excited to be here.
oh, it's exciting. We are excited for this and to get your insights into this one, especially hits close to home for me and Mike as we both have kids in I-9. We both coached in I-9. Now our kids are competing against each other in basketball this winter, which is pretty hilarious. But we are we're excited about the insights. So typically the way that we like to get this thing started out is just kind of tell us a little bit more about where you grew up, kind of how you got introduced to sports, what you like to do for fun as a kid, how your journey started.
Sure. Yeah. I also want to see some videos of your two kids playing against each other. That would be fun. Send them over.
Wow.
We
It's
need
going to
we
be
need
Mike's kid
content.
making all the shots and my kid throwing a lot of bricks.
Nah.
He shoots like me, and Isaiah shoots like Mike. So one's going to make a lot of shots, and one is a defensive and rebounding guy.
There we go. I was not a basketball player. I'll start there. Although I am 5'10", volleyball was my youth sport for a little bit of growing up. But no, thanks so much for the introduction, Jake and Michael. It's good to see you guys. Originally from Syracuse, New York, upstate. So cold growing up and really just started. I'm an only child. My parents were pretty awesome. I started playing soccer. I did dance. I did karate. I did gymnastics. I did ice skating. I did it all when I was young. And then really upstate New York was a big lacrosse hub. So got into that and then volleyball, but soccer is my sport of choice and where my career took me as an athlete. So grew up in Syracuse, and then really played multiple sports up until, sophomore, junior year of high school when I was starting to travel abroad with the Olympic Development Program. I was like, all right, well, I guess I should really start to specialize here and focus on one. I also played violin and piano because my mom wanted me to be very well rounded. And then obviously had to get straight A's. So, I think the upbringing was incredible, just being able to do anything and everything and have fun, but also be pushed to kind of the limits of being the best that you possibly can be. And that's really where soccer came in. So I was a goalkeeper. Mike and I were talking about that. I didn't start playing goalkeeper until I was 11 on a travel club team. And we were number one in the state, won a few state titles. And then we played in the National League, which was, now soccer is huge and there's so many different levels. But started playing club, was on the regional and youth national team when I was in high school, and then was recruited to play soccer. And that's where University of Michigan came in.
Yeah,
At one,
dang, that's awesome.
yeah,
That's good. And it's good to grow up and just do all those things. Violin and piano is
yeah.
freaking awesome. How was it? We are obviously from a cold weather state. So
Mhm.
how was it balancing all of those sports? I mean, it always worked out for me to go play basketball, right? Because it got cold and you can't do anything outside. So let's go inside and play basketball, right? But we've had Brandy on from Texas who was able to play outside all year long, and Brian Randall was able to kind of grow up in a gym and those things. How was it with the
Yeah.
weather shaping, all the different sports versus training versus playing versus, switching up sports and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a great question. So when I was growing up, we still had indoor soccer fields that weren't the length of true soccer fields, right? They were small. They were either hockey arenas, and then they laid down turf, or there were some that were just starting. So we had a lot of boards, right? And we were playing indoor soccer off the board. So for me as a goalkeeper, it's great for reaction. We played on the board, so it is
Oh
very
yeah.
different than when you're playing 11v11 on a full size soccer field. So I think and I feel that that really helped, right? Like now they have futsal, which is great for kids to work on their footwork. But for us, we were banging the ball up against the boards and like your reaction time and
Oh yeah. Oh,
deflections.
I remember those days. That was the
Yeah.
sambas, everybody's wearing those
Yes.
sambas. And my
Yeah.
brother, I'm pretty sure, led our indoor leagues in penalty minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jared, but he was the boards. He's a hockey guy, right? So he was checking people into the boards, but it was definitely chaos in those
Yes.
indoor soccer games.
Yeah. It was probably when I was like 12 or 13. We would play against the boys. We are a really strong girls team. However, we would play indoor against the boys. And the amount of times I got rocked in the face, my dad's like, get your hands up. Like that's gonna happen. You're too slow, But it really helped me as a goalkeeper with shot stopping and reaction time. So it was fun and it was different, right? Like you had your winter sport inside and then you were able to open it up and it's wide open when you go into spring and fall for soccer. But then, yeah, volleyball was played indoors and lacrosse was the same. We played outside when it was nice out and we went inside when it was winter, which was 6 months out of the year.
Yes. Oh, yes. The cold weather is something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's awesome. And so how did you balance, all of those sports and activities? You mentioned that you had to get straight A's. That's a good thing,
Yeah.
pushing the academics, right? And all the musical talent that you had. How did you balance all of those schedules?
Yeah, great question. I don't think I ever had much free time. Well, I know that, right? I was never one who didn't have the normal high school experience either, right? I wasn't going to parties. I wasn't doing that. I was always either doing homework or I had, for soccer at the time, it was like 12, 13 when I was really focused and specializing. I had club, I had ODP, I had goalkeeper training, and I was playing every day, right? But then if it was during volleyball season, I would play for the school. I only played for the school for volleyball and lacrosse, right? So I was
Okay.
playing club and Olympic development program and training for soccer. And then I did give up violin and piano right around like eighth, ninth grade too. So, you know, once I got into ninth, 10th grade, it was really soccer and then school. So I don't
Yeah.
know. My parents are
Dang,
really good. Yeah. What?
that's awesome. That's a lot of things to balance, right? And it's funny.
Yeah.
I was having this conversation, gosh, what was it, yesterday, maybe, with this individual who's like, athletes that, end up playing at the highest levels always seem to be doers and busybodies. And it never seems like anybody just has one thing they're doing. There's all these different things that are constantly on your plate. You're always in this kind of chaos, and it's kind of where we thrive. So it started early for you. And then, so you said then you started traveling abroad in high
Yeah.
school. Is that right?
Mhm.
So how
Yeah.
was managing that versus managing, high school's gosh, it's
Yeah.
funny. High school, all your problems in high school seem so important and then they're just not. But, when you're in that kind of coming of age time and now you're starting to travel abroad, how did you kind of manage,
Yeah.
first and foremost, where all did you go get to play? That's awesome. And then, how did you kind of manage your social life and academics as you started to travel a lot more?
Yeah, so we would have one tournament for about 2 weeks over spring break. So I only would really miss a week, which was nice. I played in Spain, Ireland, and Portugal, which was incredible. But like I said, I didn't have a huge social life. I have great friends, and a lot of them played. And then I grew up with a group of like four families who, although I'm an only child, like they are my extended family. So we just did a lot. They would either come to games or, would have family get-togethers. So that was really my social life was my teammates and yeah, my friends at high school, like while we were going to classes. But kind of going back to balancing, I don't know. I think my parents are really good at time management. My dad owned his own business. My mom worked as well. And we just we're like, well, this is what you want to do. And here's how you're going to have to manage it. I remember, I think the greatest balancing act is eating breakfast on the way to school while I'm doing homework. Right? Because I had probably strength and conditioning before school and or after, and then eating dinner on my way to one of the practices, changing. This is a funny one that you'll appreciate. The amount of times I've changed in the car while like driving, because that was just what you did from like sport to sport.
That's so
and for like a
funny.
female, that's like, you gotta figure it out. So
That's amazing. So if you can take yourself back during this time, like you're obviously sacrificing a lot, right?
Yeah.
Or what maybe seemed like a lot at the time. Yeah. Did it seem like you were sacrificing a lot? I mean, maybe you didn't use that word to describe it in your mind, but were there times where you're like, and we just talked about this on all of our podcasts, but with Brandy, who played at Michigan, right? Softball player in Michigan, but she was talking about missing the birthday parties and missing, so it might not be birthday parties, but missing parties and not going out, and just talk a little bit about the sacrifice. Did you know it? Did you realize it? Looking back, talk about that.
Yeah, that's a funny question you asked, because I was just back in Baltimore over New Year's with this group of 4 families, my best friend, really like my sister. And she goes, I remember a time, and she had asked, she's like, were you burnt out? And I said, absolutely. At that time, God willing, and like, I'm so grateful for him. I blew out my knee in my sophomore year. So I was traveling abroad. I was on the regional team at that time, and yeah, I was training every day. And she remembers saying like, oh, are you going to this party or that party? And she remembers me saying like, no, I've got soccer, or like she could feel it in my like energy. And she brought that up this past weekend. And I said, I'm so grateful that I blew out my knee, because then it really revived my love for the sport, and I came back stronger than ever. So that was going into my sophomore year. So it was June of my sophomore year. I went out for a breakaway, and a girl came in cleats up and blew out my knee, like cleats up into my knee. And I was out for 5 months, 6 months, and I came back better than ever. And that's when I was pulled up to the U.S. National team. So, it's, God's always looking out, and who knows what my path would have been if I didn't have that, because I probably been like, no, I'm done. I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
So that's very, very
that is an awesome story. And Brandy was the same. She got injured around the same time and came back with a fire that really helped spark the next part of her career.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. And you, that's tough coming back from the injury. When that happened, I'm assuming I know the answer to this. Were there any thoughts of not playing anymore, or were you okay? No.
Yeah. I mean, it was excruciating pain. And my mom says like that I screamed bloody murder. I don't really remember it, but I remember getting wheeled off. And then I was like, okay, I'm in a knee brace. Now what? Like, let's get back to it. And the other thing, my club team was really, really good. We had won 5 state championships. And so we were going to regionals, and sitting on the sidelines at regionals was like, it was like 2 weeks after, because this was in June for the Olympic development program. And then 2 weeks later was our regional national league games. And I was like, I need to get back out there. So
to get back out there.
I got back out in November.
And when you got back out, did you feel confident in your knee? Was there a mental process of feeling confident in what you can do athletically? Were there any internal doubts? Because injuries happen. Hopefully they happen to nobody ever listening to this call, or any young athlete. Hopefully you stay perfectly healthy. But in case you do, this mindset and thought process and honesty and transparency can be helpful.
Yeah. Definitely at the beginning, right? A lot of strength training. I didn't undergo surgery. So it was a PCL meniscus. So they're like, no, you just have to strengthen all the muscles around it. So it was truly like, okay, am I going to gain that strength back? But I mean, I had doctors, I had PT, I did strength, I did agility. So when I went back out, I had a Don Joy like brace. And so I played, I think it was 1 game, and I said, absolutely not. I'm done with this brace. I threw it off, and then I felt more mobile. So I think the first game I said, okay, I want this. I need it just in case. And I said, absolutely not. I'm not playing with it. So It
No,
was
I'm out.
just like if you're diving, you're getting stuck like in the ground. And I would, the first game I had chunks of grass in there. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like I'm not playing.
I'm taking it off. Oh, I hear that. And then so
Yeah.
you got called up to talk about the Olympics, talk about
Yeah.
national team, talk about that process and what that was like from you finding out that you were being invited. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It was
all of it.
Yeah, regional team, so Olympic development program, and it's changed a lot now, right? Because it's all rolled up into club. But so I was on the regional team, and then they have like a pool, a national pool. So U17 through 21, and it's kind of the top, 3, 4 goalkeepers as you're in this pool, and then you get pulled up to different tournaments. Now, I didn't travel for the national team because that was going into my senior year. And then I was just on it while I was out in college. Right. So we were just like, all right, if there are events, you would go with the national team. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Right on.
Dang, yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. And
That's
what
all.
was
Yeah, that's
that?
sweet.
That's so cool. And it's especially cool, looking at it from the standpoint of the goalkeeper, right? Because there's
Mhm.
not as many spots for that
Yeah.
position, and so if you look at again that 17 to 21-year-old pool,
Yeah.
there's a limited number of spots. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's pretty dang cool. So is that
Mhm.
through that process or even a little bit before it, was there kind of a moment, maybe even when you came back from your injury that you really saw that next level coming to fruition, seeing that college side of it coming into play for you?
I think once I got pulled up to the regional team at like 13, 14, I was like, oh, I'm definitely playing in college. And I wanted to, like, there was no doubt. And then really in the national, when I got pulled up to the national team, it was like, oh, wow, now there's offers coming in that were big, right? Like I knew that I wanted to play in college. I just didn't know what level. So once I had that national accolade, I had my pick, and it was walking on campus at University of Michigan. I said, this is it. Like Michigan and UVA were my top two. And UVA had a goalkeeper who was on the national pool 2 years older than me, so I wouldn't have played until probably my junior year. And at Michigan, I could start my freshman year. So I was like, I get to play all 4 years, which is awesome.
So glad you picked the right school.
Was waiting for that one to come in.
So glad because we're Hokies over here. So you just got bumped up
There we
on
go.
our chart. Great
Yeah.
decision maker over here. If you're listening, watching, great decision maker over here.
You have to be as a goalkeeper, right? Like you have to think on your feet. And I think that's a big thing going into my career is you've got to make a choice, and it's either going to be the right one or the wrong one. You cannot get stuck in limbo as a goalkeeper. And that was something that we were always trained. You either go or you hold your line kind of thing. And that's where in my career, it's like, you better make that decision and you go all in. Right. And I feel like I'm a pretty good person that says, all right, I made that wrong decision and own up to it. Now what's the next one kind of thing. So I think that's a big learning from
Love that.
sports.
Love that.
No,
I love that
yeah.
because I see that my daughter, we've talked about it a little bit, but daughter,
Yeah.
11 years old, travels soccer. And so they just got to a place a year ago where they stopped rotating goalies, right?
Uh-huh.
But you see goalies where it's I call it a fast break. Maybe it's not a fast break,
Yeah,
but
breakaway.
they're kind of making breakaway. There we go. Thank you. Get them right. But you see where they have the indecision on attacking the player, basically,
Yep.
or and you can see it physically, and you know what they're thinking. So you saying that really was a great visual, and I mean to apply that to your life, it makes sense on how you've been able to apply that, and that's helped you become successful and put you in a position of leadership.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
No,
been a
absolutely.
great journey for sure.
No, absolutely. That's being able to walk with conviction is a powerful thing, right? That is it's one of the things I'm still struggling with in my golf game now is the indecision when you step up to try and hit a shot and then it doesn't go well. But if you can just hit a shot with conviction, no, no,
I
that's
mean, I'm not the most decisive when it comes to my wine choices or my food. Now, I will say that I am still a female, and it depends on the mood I'm in. Okay.
Oh,
That's good.
no,
That's
that's
But,
good.
awesome. And so yeah, when you stepped into
yeah.
Michigan and obviously being able to start right away and, have those opportunities to, jump right into competition. How was that transition for you? You had been exposed to a lot of that kind of caliber of talent and, some of the best, right? But how was it jumping in, from that high school to the college phase, that freshman year?
Oh my gosh, so nerve-wracking, right? You still get the nerves. I feel like I definitely came into my own and was super confident as a goalkeeper in my high school years. I think you just have a little more, I not say resilience because we all have resilience, right? But like you're just kind of betting on yourself there. But going into college is definitely more nerve-wracking, especially like Friday night under the lights and like a bit, and you're wearing like the block M, like that's a lot of pressure, right? But every game, I would think about this like once you make the first touch or the first save, whether it be like a pass back, then your nerves are like, okay, I can take a deep breath and now let's just play. So every game, there was definitely nerves at a different level there.
Oh, absolutely. It's like you said, those Friday nights under the lights are there's something. But that's funny. That's I like what you said about that first touch and how that makes you kind of settle into the game,
Yeah.
right? It's funny. I feel like it's a great learning experience when you just get to feel part of that game, right? I know it was like my first at bat or something, or first ball in the outfield. It's like, all right, it's also funny in baseball. I don't know why this isn't baseball, but anytime there is a new defensive player, like a defensive substitution late in the game, the first ball is guaranteed to find that person. It's just automatic. So it's like that, you get out there and it's crazy, and then it's definitely going to find you. So you got to be ready to go. But that's awesome. And so, with that competition and, learning leading into, new coaches, new mentors, new teammates,
Mhm.
how was learning all of that, stepping into a new schedule, right? College
Mhm.
athletics looks a little different in terms of time and energy and effort. And, now with your new mentors and new competition and all those things going into it, how was that just kind of mentality, especially starting freshman year?
Yeah, I would say I'm so grateful for my goalkeeper coach. Like I was with him all the time. So he just made it really comfortable. And I mean, he coached Olympic development program. So like I kind of had a feeling of his coaching style, which made it really easy, right? Like
Oh yeah. Oh,
so
stepping in with
that
a
was
sense of familiarity is
yeah.
that's awesome.
So that was really nice. And then the schedule piece, I think it goes back to how I was able to time manage back in high school. And all right, well, you're getting up and going to school, you're going to the weight room, you're going to study hall, you're going to practice. You just got to figure it out. And I will say, and I think I hear this a lot of like those who are student athletes have just so much more structure because you
Mhm.
have to. If you don't, you're gonna fail kind of thing. So
Yes.
I'm
Oh
really
yes.
glad at it.
Yeah, you cannot thrive in the chaos if without that structure, right? And a lot of times that structure is built out for you, which is kind of nice that you step into almost
Yeah.
forced structure at that level, right? But then,
Mhm.
so from kind of stepping into it your freshman year and getting really your first taste of collegiate soccer and collegiate athletics, how did you evolve as a player and as a person, over the next couple of years as you continue to settle in there with Michigan?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know if anybody's asked me. I mean, I think you continue to grow in confidence, right, as you get older and playing with your teammates, right? You understand how they play on the field. So yeah, I think just more comfortability, more confidence, and yeah, leadership. Right. Like as a goalkeeper, I think it's built in leadership. You have to be the coach on the field. So I had that from the time really I was like 12 or 13, because if you aren't, then you're more than likely team's going to fail. Like if you are not the coach on the field and you cannot see everything that's happening in front of you, then, you aren't setting yourself up for success or the team. So you kind of have to just suck it up and swallow those nerves and be that commander and leader on the field. But I think the nervousness calms down a little more as you grow, like from freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. Now senior year was like so sad, right? Like it's like, holy cow, what am I gonna do after this? That was
Well,
a
and it
big,
goes it goes so fast, right? It
So,
goes
so fast.
yeah.
so fast. I mean, it was what I'm 16 years out of college now, and it still feels like yesterday. It's It goes fast. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome. And that's it's the sense of the game slowing down a little bit, all those good things that come into it, right? And but just what you touched on there of, understanding your nerves and understanding how to kind of work through those, or what you said,
yeah,
what swallow those, right? Is that's a powerful lesson for people to learn, right? Because there's going to be a lot of times in your life where you feel nerves and you feel that anxiety and your heart starts beating a little faster, and just being able to work through that is it's such a it's such a powerful thing. That's a great
yeah,
life lesson, and so as the game kind of slowed down, and your senior year, I mean, how was it kind of working through that process your senior year? I know you mentioned it was sad, but how
yeah.
was kind of working through that senior year?
Yeah, I mean, I think now that I look back, right, and now I've been removed for I'm about 16 years out too. Um, and it was another place of burnout, right? Like I had been going, and when November came when we were done, I was like, okay, well, I don't know who I am, don't know what I'm doing. I know I'm getting a sport management communication degree. Like, what does that mean? And you kind of like lose yourself, right? So that was like November. And then in January, I actually got drafted by the Boston Breakers. And at that time, I was like, no, I'm done. And I
Okay.
think, and looking back, I don't regret it. I know it was the right decision at that time. And I think that set me up for success after I graduated to get into coaching, right? Like again, I still didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I have a degree from Michigan, but I'm not playing. And we talk a lot about this. Like, I'm sure the guys from locker room to boardroom do too. But in the post, it's like you part of you dies. Like you die a death after you're done playing, and then you have to rebuild, and you're like reborn somebody different. So yeah, it was like a sad death. And then, all right, let's see what I can take from my playing. And I loved the game. It was just like I was done playing it. Like I was just done. I didn't want to do it anymore. And so I started coaching at a community college and a Division two school, and youth and club, and I loved it. And I found the love of soccer again.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. It's nice to have that kind of moment of peace, right? And looking back on it, I mean, obviously now with the perspective, what's it? They say life's meant to be understood backwards and lived forwards, right? And so now we can all look back on our experiences and understand them a little bit better, right? But it's definitely something that we always like to say athletes die twice, And so
Yep.
we understand that completely. And so, stepping into to coaching, as much as you were done as a player, how did you kind of know that's what you were going to do, or did you kind of fall into it? How did it
Fell into it.
come? It fell into it?
Yeah, fell into it. Well, I will give my dad props. So I got my coaching license at my first one. So as a soccer coach, you've got different levels of it. You've got your E license you can get, which is just like everybody can. I think I got that at like 16. Then I got my D license at 18. And then my C is when you can coach collegiately. And I was turning 21, and my dad is like, and of course, again, soccer took a lot away from me. And it was on my 21st birthday the next day was going to be my final exam for my coaching for my C license. And I was still in school, right? 21, or I had just graduated. And dad's like, you're going to take it. I was like, it's on my 21st birthday. He's like you haven't had enough experiences. Like you'll have the rest of your life to drink. So I got my coaching license, my C, which means you could coach collegiately on my 21st birthday. So I kind of fell into it. I moved back home to Syracuse. I had like a reputation, obviously, as a soccer player, a strong one in the community. And they're like, oh, well, we're starting a new girls program at Onondaga Community College. Will you coach? So I did. And then there was a new digital marketing agency that was just opening up in 2010, and I had a sport management communication. So they're like, oh, well, it's kind of marketing. Google's new. Like, do you want to apply and do you want to start? So I said, sure, I'll learn that. So I started at this company called Terrakeet, and then got pulled into Lemoyne, which is a D2 school, and said, hey, we really want you to coach here too. And I said, okay, cool. So then I coached for a few years and started diving into digital marketing, and then that kind of propelled my professional of like, where do I go from here kind of thing.
Dang, yeah, good for you, right? To two jobs with coaching
Yeah.
and the digital marketing side of things. That's awesome. So you said with that first community college, that was a new program when you stepped
Yeah.
into it. How was
Yeah.
it kind of leading the charge with a new program?
Oh, I mean, I don't, and I was young, right? I was
Oh
21
yeah.
and they were the same. So it was almost like you're coaching your teammates again. I
Yeah.
wasn't super nervous. I don't know. Coaching has always felt pretty um organic and comfortable and authentic to me. And I love it. So it kind of gives me the fire back and the competitiveness that I was missing by not playing, right?
Oh,
So
absolutely. It's the best. That's why so many of us get into that role, right? It fills a
yeah.
lot of those buckets and that just innate like ability to give back to those people who are going to walk that path that you just walked is a pretty cool thing. And so with all that coaching experience and then kind of stepping into the digital marketing side of things, how did you kind of navigate those first few years of your professional journey, like I guess years like 2 to 5? I mean, how
Yeah.
was it kind of navigating the coaching, then with this company, then the next stop of coaching, then the next stop of the company? How was it kind of just navigating that first initial part of your rebirth?
Yeah. Well, I still had the coaching piece. So diving into the digital marketing space, I was like, oh, cool. This is my first job out of college. And I mean, we're all young. It was a brand new digital marketing agency. So it was fun, right? There's like 15 of us just figuring it out. So I was there for 2 years, still coaching. And then my mom, well, before I graduated from Michigan, she's like, you're getting your master's. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then after 2 years, I said, okay, I do want to go back and I really like what I'm doing in digital marketing. Let me see how I can kind of pair business and marketing, and that's kind of where I want my career to go. I wasn't ready to give up coaching, but I was thinking, okay, I know that I don't want to coach forever. So let me see what I can do. So I wanted to get out of Syracuse, had an opportunity to go down south, and that's where I'm down in Charlotte, North Carolina now, but had an opportunity to move and coach again at a D2 school, get my master's. So I left Syracuse and then actually started my own company in digital marketing and built websites for like small businesses, right? Like again, this was 2012. So nobody had an online presence. Nobody knew what social media was. So I was like,
Yes.
all right, I'll help family friends or I'll help do this. So I moved to North Carolina, coached D2, Lenore Ryan. We won a few conference championships, which was awesome. That team was incredible. Really, really hard to walk away from those. So I was there for two of our fall seasons. They were incredible. We were 11 in the country when I left. It
Dang,
was
okay.
awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey.
those
Yeah.
girls were great. It was different than Lemoyne. I will say, and every level is a little different. Every team is a little different. The camaraderie is different. The teamwork, there's girls drama, right? Like, and Lenore Ryan was incredible, and it was a great experience. So, yeah,
Let me ask a question that before I forget. When you transition out of playing, or when you finish playing, when you're like, okay, I don't want to play soccer anymore, can you describe what was going on mentally that kind of got you to that point to where you're like, okay, I'm ready? Because Jake, we've talked about it. Sometimes the game retires you,
yeah,
and then sometimes you retire from the game. It's one of the two usually, and so if talking through that would be great. And then even at the end of coaching, when you're ready to step out of the sport completely, like why? What was going on mentally? What made you feel ready to put this chapter behind and move on to the next phase?
yeah. All great questions. So I think at Michigan, again, season was over in November, right? And at that time, I didn't know if I was going to get drafted. So the draft didn't come out till January, and I think it was just like, all right, F it. Like, I'm done. So I'm going to live a regular student life. And I think it retired me. Like, I don't know. Yes, looking back, it was the right decision. But I think from November through May, like I was not in a good mental space, right? I'm partying all the time and I asked my dad, I'm like, I'm going to take a 5th year. He said, you are not. You're absolutely not. he's like, why would you do that? You are, 4 classes away. I was like, because I didn't get to experience life. And he said, too bad, so sad kind of thing. He's like, you got a full ride, so we're not paying another semester. So you got to work through it. It was not a healthy transition, if I'm being honest. And I think a lot of us feel that way, right? November till probably the following October, when I coached again, was like, I have no idea who I am. And I'm just partying and like figuring it out. Right.
Yep.
And then once I started coaching again, for OCC and then Lemoyne, I was like, okay, this is cool. But again, I think it still was just putting one foot in front of the other. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to figure this out. I don't know if I'm really happy. Don't know if I really want to do this. But then when I moved to North Carolina, that's, 3 years, 2.5 years after, I said, okay, I love this. This is a great team. I'm actually going to focus on schooling and get my master's and really decide the path I want to go. So I think it took a good 2.5, 3 years to really figure out that's what I wanted.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I want to hear what you're saying. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah. So I think, it took just putting one foot in front of the other. And it's like, we're going to figure it out. I think we all do. It's not a linear path, and my path to where I'm at now in my career is not linear either. And I coached at Lenore-Rhyne, got my master's. So stepping away from that was really hard because I was the head coach at that time, but they had wanted me to stay for 5 years. And I was like, I don't want to, like, that's just not what I wanted to do. So that was really hard. But at the same token, I coached club. And so I still had the youth in me and like the 6, 7, 8-year-olds. I was like, okay, I can do this. And I could take my career path down more into the business and marketing side. So I still coached. It just wasn't at the collegiate level. So
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love what you say as far as one foot in front of the other, because sometimes you feel like you need to figure things out. And I don't care what age you are, you're still constantly, that journey of figuring it out never stops. Sorry to be a spoiler if you're in college or you're just like, that's a constant evolution that will never stop. You're still constantly figuring. And once you figure it out, there's something else you got to figure out. So you saying one step in front of the other, I know that's going to help people because that's kind of what you have to do.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have the whole structure. Yeah.
And you're going to stumble and you're going to be like, well, that didn't work out. So after I graduated, I was like, yes, I'm going to do marketing and I'm going to work in business and all this. So I stayed in Charlotte and I applied to hundreds, thousands of jobs. And I just did not get a marketing opportunity. There was this okay, you could have an entry level for like 25,000. I said, no, I'm not taking this. I have my own business. I have 2 years of experience. I have a master's. So again, that was my stumble. So I started working at a staffing agency and I said, okay, well, I can do sales. I'm personable. Let's see what I can do. So I worked at a staffing agency for a couple of years and started figuring out different companies in Charlotte and said, okay, well, where are there opportunities? So fast forward to Driven Brands was one of my clients at the staffing agency I worked for. I knew the chief marketing officer and I would just continue to connect with them. And I said, this is what I want to do. I want to get in marketing, and a marketing manager role opened at Driven Brands, which is a largest franchisor in automotive. And I had an opportunity and I was hired on as a marketing manager back in 2017, 18. And that's kind of where my corporate franchise marketing experience started. And from there, I just was like, oh, I love it.
Yeah, good for you. You placed yourself.
Yeah, right. It was the staffing agency was like, well, do we get a fee from that or something? We got to figure this out. So yeah,
that's amazing.
Again, I was still coaching at the time. I was still coaching club, and I was balancing everything. And Jake, going back to your point, it's like my plate always has to be full. Else I feel
Yes.
like I'm like lazy, which is not true. Like, like, but yeah. So
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And so then, from kind of getting your first job into it, right? To obviously leading back into more of the entrepreneurial world, how was it kind of stepping out, from corporate America in a sense to, running your own thing again?
yeah. So I'll take you through the franchise. So this was back in 2017. I started as a marketing manager at CarStar. We had about 250 locations on the US side, about 400 across North America. We grew to 750 within 2 years. So I
Wow.
was helping stand up our B2C strategy and having all of our franchisees do more to B2C marketing and saying you have a choice as a consumer, you have a choice of where you get your car fixed. We were big collision. We were like premier collision franchisees. So I was there for 2 years, worked my way up, had a small team, and then Mako, better get Mako is like auto body repair and paint. They were trying to look for like a revival. They'd been around for 45 years, and we really need to kind of garner more like franchise positive sentiment. It'd been a long time. Like we just needed to revive it. So I got brought over to Mako to lead more of their franchise support, B2C marketing. Then I continued to work my way up, worked on the like technology and rebrand positioning, led their strategy team, and then I was promoted as their vice president of marketing at Mako within 4.5 years. So I went from manager to VP, and I said, within 5 years, I'm going to be a VP. Like that's just what us athletes do. It's like, this is my goal. I'm gonna achieve it. So amazing experience at Driven Brands. We were private. I went when they were private to public, which was an awesome experience. And then I said, okay, I've been at Driven for 6 years. Let me try something else. So I worked for another franchise organization, the Neighborly Brands, which is Precision Garage Door, Mr. Rooter, Mr. Electric, Molly Maid, all of them. And then I was like there for about a year, a little over a year, set up their marketing team, platform, strategy, and it just wasn't the right fit. And they knew it, I knew it. And actually, and this is another stumbling block, right? Like I got let go in April and to whatever year ago, this was 2025. And it was a blessing in disguise, right? Like God's gift. I was miserable. I was not happy. I was not thriving. I was not in a environment that was empowering and teamwork. And so, yeah, I went out on my own, Jake, and started my own consulting and franchise marketing and revenue ops. And then I got into like the Post, which is another, networking group, and was like, I don't know if I want to go back to corporate. And if I do, it has to align with my mission, my passion, the teamwork. And then fast forward to September of 25, where I landed at I9. I am so incredibly happy. And a year is a long time and a short time that makes a huge difference in like who you are. And like, you're just empowered and excited. And I'm enthusiastic now. So it's been good.
Oh,
Heck yeah.
absolutely. That's yeah, I mean, stacking small days over and over again is pretty tremendous what you can accomplish in that year time. And so now, obviously you are kind of hybriding those models of the marketing side and the sports side, right? So how's it been kind of being back in the youth sports segment?
Yeah, I am just so relit. Like I'm just so revived, and I love I9. We've talked about this, right? Like I love their mission, helping all kids succeed in life through sport, because everything we've just been talking about, it builds so much of the foundation of who you are to be successful and to thrive, and leadership, confidence, and that's really what I9 is. And I can live it every day without having to feel like I'm forcing something, right? Like automotive was
Right.
great, and like everybody needs to get their car fixed. And I love my franchisees there, and consumers need a solution. And same with home services. Like everybody needs plumbing here and there. But in order to be able to marry my passion and like
Mhm.
truly who I am with what I can do in marketing and business is, I mean, yeah, God sent. Like I'm just so grateful. So
Love that. And can we take a step back? Could you explain? Because both of our kids participate in I9, and a phenomenal platform for kids.
Yes.
So can you explain, because it's a great opportunity for someone seeing this that doesn't know
Sure.
what I-9 is.
Yeah, I love it. And all three of us have had a different path than the I-9 path, but I-9's been
Yeah.
around for 20 years and we're fun first, like multi-sport, non-specialization, no pressure, right? Like sportsmanship and character building. Those are our three pillars, right? Like fun first, sportsmanship, and multi-sport. We want you guys to come out, have fun. One day a week you can start with, right? Like that's our leagues. That's kind of our bread and butter. We started adding on trainings if you want to do it. But for the kids that are 3 to 13, we just talked about this. I didn't specialize until I was like 12 or 13. And like,
Yeah.
that's their time to go out, have fun. Every child deserves a place to feel like they belong and can try and have fun and make mistakes and not get cut and not have the pressures. Of course, we empower them to be competitive. You can still be competitive, whether it be one day a week and you can figure out who you are. But kind of going to your point, Michael, of like the parents too, like that's a lot to juggle. Like you're trying to do that with club. It's like it's one day a week. Let the kids have fun with multi-sport, figure out what they want to do, and build the foundation of who they are going to become. It's just great.
Love it. Phenomenal program. Phenomenal program. So happy we found it. My brother's in Richmond. His son started through the I-9 program. That's actually how we heard about it first initially. So great platform. Parents, if you're listening, if you're seeing this, and you have a young athlete, please check it out. It's a great platform for them to get started.
Yeah. And I'm so thankful that you two are coaching, right? It takes a village for, right, for all of upbringing, but it takes a village too for our volunteer coaches. So that's another thing with I-9 is we have a ton of coaching resources with Positive Coaching Alliance and Coaching Her, which is really aligns with our Gains Are for the Girls campaign that we just launched. Is we really want to have the resources that our coaches can go out and really make the kids feel comfortable, confident, and kind of build on that character that they're going to become. So thank you for you guys giving back, because we just talked about it. Like we feel excited to give back to those kids that the sport gave us so much. And
No doubt. No doubt.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's Mike always talks about this too, but it's such a good, being able to kind of give back and coach in that regard is awesome, right? But at the same time, it's what a unique way for us to spend that quality time in teaching those life skills and, just having that time to have an impact on more than just the athlete is pretty
Mhm.
awesome, and so you did just mention that Gains for the Girls, right? So tell us a
Yes.
little bit more about that initiative.
Yeah. So over the last year, prior to me joining I-9, our team was really diving into, we have a manager of sport of like, all right, we need to take some data and we need to survey and this was an initiative they had focused on. We want to get to 500,000 girls playing annually in I-9 by 2030. We have about 180,000 right now. So it's about 20% growth year over year. We've seen 30% in volleyball and flag, which is awesome over the last year. But the goal was 500,000. They announced it at convention last year. And then the team was like, well, let's put together a survey. And we surveyed over 1,500 parents of girls and said, what is it that you're really looking for in a youth sports program? And it's a sense of belonging, confidence, right, for their girls, and then really friendships. Winning was at the bottom. It was less than 3% of when we did this survey. That again, it's not about winning. It's about them gaining the confidence, gaining the friendships, and gaining a sense of belonging to build the foundation to be, a successful kid and girl throughout their career. So we launched the survey, got tons of pickup, which is great. And we're committed to partnering with other organizations of how we can get more girls involved in sport. So,
Love that.
yeah.
Love that. Love that. What sparked that? Was there just somebody brought that idea up? Was there a talking track behind it? Like what sparked the vision for that? 'Cause that's
Yeah.
awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of our team has worked in the sports space before, and we know that girls' conversation has been brewing, and they're like, we have to be a part of this. Also, our operation is already built for this, right? We're fun first, we're no pressure, we're multi-sport. So we're like, how can we really lean into who we are anyways And does it really match what parents and girls want?
Mm.
So it was already there. And now it was like, all right, we're going to continue to survey, girls. And we'll do this across all of our parents too, of just like learning more of how can we be better and how can we be the platform and the solution for parents. I personally, and us, like, I want to get against the burnout culture and the early specialization. And, it leads to injuries and it leads to burnout and mental health, right? All of the things that we talk about. And I9 is really set up for success. So I think they were like, all right, we're built for it. Let's dive into the data and prove that we're the right choice for a lot of families.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's such an awesome way to go because it has taken a shift in the last number of years of that specialization and just the craziness that is youth sports and in the business of youth sports, right? And so it's awesome out there,
Mhm.
that there are organizations that are, I feel like, trying to go about it the right way and bring back the
Yeah.
right way about it and let these kids be kids and have fun and teach them all the right things and all those special skills that you do are fortunate enough to learn through sports. And so, yeah, with that and I9, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. Is it, how are you planning on rolling this out? Is it just more marketing? Is it more word of mouth? I mean, how you have any kind of steps or strategic things that you guys are looking into to get to that
Yeah.
500,000 number?
Yeah, great question. So last week was the biggest push, right? We released it the day before National Girls and Women's in Sports Day. I was honored to be invited to the Women's Sports Foundation Day, like Equity Project convening, which means like leaders in this girls space of, leaning into having conversations on the Hill and in DC and talking about the business of sport. Jake, we talked a lot about that of like profit margins of our franchisees are like, decreasing because we have to pay for venues. And there's just a lot of bigger conversations being had. I'll get back to your point of how we're rolling this out, but being a part of those conversations and really pushing, like we are a solution to that. And then how do we work across multiple industries, companies to continue to create equality for girls and then access for all kids. So we rolled it out the day before National Girls and Women's in Sports Day. We did the survey. We're working on like partnerships of like donating back to get grants, right? Like we want to be able to provide kids who are unable to pay for it. So we're working on partnerships there. We already have in our registration flow that you can choose like a kid or a friend that you want to play with. So again, some of the survey results were like, I want to play with a friend, right? Like that's something that makes them feel like a sense of belonging and comfortable. So registration process, friends, partnerships with, grants, donating back to kids to get them playing in our leagues, continued survey and listening into this, a lot of thought leadership, a lot of podcasts, a lot of like PR pickup. Yes, and more marketing. And then having our franchisees elevate girls only programs, right? Like our flag is a huge push right now. We see NFL flag, we see girls only. We know that it's going to be a part of the Olympics. So flag is a huge focus that we're, leaning into our franchisees of like, offer this. This is a need. Like girls want to play with
Yes, they
girls.
Yes.
do. Yes, they do.
And they want to play co-ed, but as they get older, we know this in data that they want to play a girls only. So we're leaning into those opportunities and really empowering our franchisees to offer that across the system.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love
And then
that.
the coaching piece, I think I mentioned this Positive Coaching Alliance and coaching her. And again, with Women's Sports Foundation, we're in the conversations of how many more resources can we provide, not only our coaches, but parents. Like we need to get in the parents' mind to get them a way of like, your kid more than likely is not going to go on and play college sports. About 1% go on to play D1. And then I think it's 0.06. There was some numbers go on to play professionally. It's like, you aren't chasing the NIL money and dream. Let your kid go out. And that's what we're
Will they be
trying
on the
to
high
do.
school team?
Yeah. So it's changing the mindset and the culture. And that was the conversation at the Women's Sports Foundation, the convening is like changing the culture and the mindset of the parents of, you aren't living vicariously through your kids. Like let them be kids and not specialize early, you know.
That's such a phenomenal message. That's
No,
it
it's
That's
is your
good.
kid's life, it's not yours, right? Um,
yes.
I mean, yeah, that's good. It's good to be taking on those things, right? And I mean, so for you, with all these initiatives and everything going on, I mean, do you kind of feel personally about what you would tell a parent or a youth athlete, in today's day and age?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, sports is meant to be fun. And then the benefits of it really, the benefits are that you're out having fun and you build the foundation to be successful. I mean, learn teamwork, you learn, commitment, you learn confident or you gain confidence just by being a part of it. But it all comes down to fun because if you're not having fun, then you're going to quit. And that's what we see. And then for the parents out there, I don't know. I mean, I'm hopeful that I'm not going to be the one who's riding them. However, yes, push them if that's what they want to do. And they're a point where they want to specialize, but not from 3 to 12. Like, they're still growing. They're still just playing around. They just want to go out and free play. So, yeah, there's just so much better opportunities than, forcing them to burn out at 12.
Yes, yes. Oh, that's good. It's funny to look at it, from that way. And like you mentioned, I mean, it is the 1% of the 1% that make it to the top, right? And that was gosh, I saw this stat the other day, and I don't know if I'm making this up, so someone can fact check me. But it was something, Major League Baseball has been around for what, 150 years now, right? And 23,000 people have ever made it to the MLB, right? So if you took a Major League Baseball stadium, put every Major League Baseball player in the history of the MLB, it would fill to about half capacity, right? And so it is that perspective that you need to have is sports and what it does for you, what it teaches you, the lifelong lessons that you learn from it, the lifelong friendships that you get from it, right? And
friendships.
it's one of the big things that we like, and there's a lot of synergy in that is education, transparency, just sharing stories of people who have walked that path, not in a way that necessarily gives advice, but it's just transparency and education. And the more that we can do with that, I think the better from our end. The more you guys can do that from your end is awesome. And so love that stuff with the games for the girls. And any other exciting things that you guys have coming up or are rolling out? Now we're in the personal bias thing because me and Mike's kids.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're going to continue to lean in. Gains are for the girls, right? That's through 2030. So just continued conversations around it, leaning in with Women's Sports Foundation. How do we create more accessibility, not only for girls, but for I-9 in general, right? We're not forgetting about the boys, and co-ed is great as well. So, we've got just continued push of multi-sport. We're working on some like rebranding stuff for I-9 this year. Again, like leaning into the multi-sport, the fun first, and just kind of reviving it, like making it exciting, right? We've been around for 20 years, so it needs a little refresh and excitement.
No
No,
doubt.
absolutely. But yeah, I love that. I mean, I played three sports all the way through my senior year of high school. So my first time specializing was freshman year of college, and that was
There
a
you go.
a learning
Yeah.
experience all in itself, right? But there's so many things that are phenomenal right within that. And so, one of the last things that we like to kind of get into is if you now, again, as we've talked about this perspective and all the things that you have looking back through your own personal journey, what would you have told or what would you tell yourself, your 21, 22-year-old self right now in that November through May timeframe of your senior year?
Yeah. Good question.
That's a great question. I mean,
Thanks for the
it
hype, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, it's always going to work out. And I mean, I think my dad always instilled this like the work that you put in is going to be the work that you get out of it. And it's always worked out for me and better than I could have ever imagined. And I hope to continue down that path, right? Like I'm now back into something that I'm passionate about. Like I never thought I would now be back in leading marketing for the largest youth sports organization, in the US and marrying my passion for sport and with my like career. And who knows where it goes from here. So yeah, just like everything will work out one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, that's what that one foot in front of the other, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
trust the process. It's
Yeah.
all those things that you know, daily wins are going to lead to something special. So I think that
Yeah.
that would hopefully be well received by 21-year-old Madison, right? That's we can
It is
hope. We
hard. It is hard though. I mean, it is not easy, right? And Michael, you said this. Like you are gonna go through real tough, dark, deep times that it's not gonna be easy. And you've probably gone through them before and you've made it out alive and on the other side, right? So just keep putting your head down and working through it. So
Absolutely. And so what's so great about these stories is everybody has those moments, right? That we talk to. And that's why one of the many reasons we love what we're building here in the community with Locker Room to Boardroom. There's times where it's just challenging, it's hard, it's uncertain, you're scared, you're nervous, you're self-conscious during your sports journey,
yeah.
and it's important for us to have this platform for people to share that. So as athletes are about to go through it or going through it, they can say, okay, boom, Madison, I've heard this. I'm ready for this moment, right? It doesn't mean it's not hard or difficult, but I'm ready for this based off of knowledge and listening to other people. So this is great stuff. And we just your story is awesome. We love that you know, you've found ways to get closer back to your passion,
Yeah.
whether it's coaching and now the position you're in now that's connected to youth athletes and a mission that's impacting youth men and women's sports, girls
Yeah.
and boys sports. But we both have daughters, so we're a little biased on the ladies' side now. So we're on board. So anything that we can do to help empower and uplift what y'all are doing, yeah, we're definitely on board for that. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's my daughter. I don't know if she needs any help in the confidence part. That lady is about as confident as they have ever come. But
strong.
but again, like Mike's but like Mike said, it's we we love that element and love getting behind those initiatives. And so, anything we can do to continue to support or help or bring it to light or get it out there. I mean, we're always happy to do so. But that's a great story, and you've done a lot of great things and are still doing a lot of great things with a lot of. I mean, again, if you look at it from that regard and get to help 500,000 youth girl athletes, that's impacting a lot of
That's,
lives. That's a pretty cool
that's
thing,
sick.
right? That's a pretty cool thing. And so, again, we appreciate you sharing that with us, sharing that initiative with us, sharing your story with us, and just appreciate you taking some time to be here with us today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. This was awesome. I love, yeah, it's just so easy and authentic to talk about, right? Like we're doing the right things and we all have a goal to help kids succeed in life.
Okay.
So,
Oh, absolutely. Build those long-term sustainable futures, right? That's what
mhm.
I'm going to add one more question to you because my daughter's network, a lot of soccer players, and they're starting the process at ECNL, and we
Ah,
have some older ECNL girls that are going to Texas this weekend. There's a specific family that I'm thinking of. So, not talking to Madison at 2021. Let's talk to Madison at 11 to 13,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
What would you say to yourself? What would you say to yourself or any athlete that's listening, regardless of the sport? But what would you say to them to be thinking about or have awareness of, or give a gem, give us a gem, something that's going to help somebody out there?
11 to 13. I mean, that's where you build your friendships and really trust. One, trust in yourself of what you can accomplish and trust in your teammates who are your friends. I still have some of my closest friends during that time. And you are still having fun and you are still learning and you're going to make a ton of mistakes and you're going to continue to grow and become better for it. I think that's really where you're fumbling the most of like, I have no idea who I am, especially as a girl, right? Like coming into puberty and you're just figuring it all out, but it's still fun. And it's still like, okay, I can trust myself to make mistakes and continue to get better every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Love that. Love that. Love
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome. But again, yeah, we appreciate all the insights and all the good gems and everything that you're doing and continue to do. So thank you so much for jumping on with us, and we're excited for what's to come for you and the initiatives and everything that you got going on, and we're excited for what's to come.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. It was a great afternoon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Madison. We appreciate you big time.